Good evening. I should test the sound before I did anything. Check, 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 check. I don't know. Check, check, check. Am I working there? Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Okay, I think we're there. Check. No, I'm not. It's weird. Okay. So what are we doing? I guess I'm trying to tell some of my story. Because every good story has a beginning. And I guess I need some props for this. So. Man, classic Seinfeld. So let's see, what was I going to start with? Well, I was born in Akron, Ohio, and it was summer. That's what I was doing. Like, started my story today, and it's I kind of see it being like a don't laugh, but like a theater, like more like a rock opera, but the music that shaped my life, So I started writing the story, and like the first song I heard was, well, you know what? I'll just show you. Do a little show and tell. I'll probably get in trouble for playing it, but I'm only gonna play it for a second. How'd they know I was gonna fake? So crazy. Sports commercial. Dun, dun, dun. Try to spell that. How does that spell? That's opening chorus. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Another one's coming. That's how much it sucks. I can't play it though because I'll get in trouble. was gonna go put some non-royalty free music on. So that was like the first song I heard. And I think I was like 11 years old, at my buddy Kurt's house. Again. Pretty good. Winter Cafe. Okay, so we gotta get this document that I was working on earlier. So second grade. My buddy Kurt had a birthday party, so we went over there to spend the night. And me and Lee and another one, Jack, I think. Do this right here. Damn it. So this is how the story starts. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know how to spell that. You know, so it really took me longer than it should to come up with D-U-N. And another one's gone. And another one's gone. Another one bites the dust. Yeah, the first time I heard those iconic notes played, I was about 11 years old. It was 1980. I was spending the night at my friend Kurt's house for his birthday party. It was me, Kurt, Lee, and I think Jimmy or Jack. I'm pretty sure it was Jack. Who would go on to become a brain surgeon. He knew his whole life what he was going to do, and he did. I remember thinking to myself, what kind of devil music is this? Why has it been hidden from me? I probably should have just put in there the rock and roll notes or something, but it was, I just remember that, like, wow, this is, I want more of this. And I said that was the early stages of Footloose in the movie. You don't see the young Kevin Bacon, the actual movie. And he probably wasn't as cool as he would become either, so don't laugh at my 2 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I don't know. It made more sense. That's definitely going to be edited. Welcome to the Editing Race Bookstore. I remember thinking to myself, I just read that line. We are the champions of the world. We are the champions of the world. Night vision trophies being carried off the field, having been crowned MVP of the championship squad. Lee, I changed his name to Skull. Just because, I don't know, but look at his real name in there. Had some older siblings and managed to sneak a couple of his older brothers' cassettes in. Cassette tape, if you don't know, it's a little, all right, we're going to do some show and tell here, I guess. Okay, so Yeah, pretty much like this first one, I think, but more probably. So that's what a cassette tape is that black thing right there, in case you don't know. And Kurt had, I think, this model here, probably something like that. And we're off down the basement. There's a little unfinished part in like the basement where, I don't know, we just had a fort or whatever. We're listening to dun, dun, dun. Another one bites the dust. So that was my first moment into rock and roll. And and there was another great one. Which yeah, timing on this one, maybe I shouldn't play it. I probably won't. But it was. I'll sing it for you. How about that? It was bom 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 I ran. Bom 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 I ran. Bom 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 bom. Gonna kick the eye. Some tell you I told her we're gonna kick him in the eye. I don't know. It was 1980, and there was big hostage crisis, very similar to like this one. Let's do a little glimpse back at history, shall we? 1980. Can you guys believe there's a year that far back? Yeah. Attention flips. Attention's been in that. 1980, Iraq crisis. So the backstory is Jimmy Carter was an ineffective president, and he's a nice guy. Probably one of the, like I could be wrong. He might be just as bad as all of them. But I get the feeling he wasn't in on the, I don't know, some of the shit. We're not going there. Hostages were held for 444 days, from November 4th, 1979, to the release January 20th, 1981. I remember like the ribbons, yellow ribbons in the trees, and I must have been going. Seems like I was in 5th grade. Yeah, that'd be right, except for 1988. So, it's considered pivotal episodes of history that ran the United States relations for a while. And that's where that song Bomb Iran came from. They decided that it was pretty funny at the time, not very politically correct these days. Sure. Okay, so what were we doing? Reading my story. Back to the story. So, it's a fix black tape that just showed you. It had like 6 buttons. Let's see, was that right on that? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Huh? Pause and maybe it's like it's a fast forward, rewind, stop, play, record. I don't know what I missed. Anyway. This is stupid. Play, fast forward, rewind, pause, record. I didn't have a stop. Duh. Okay. At that point, I think my music was limited to church hymns, as several kids' gospel records. Oh, you're in for a treat here. I actually looked this up today. My computer was running so slow. It was about this time I was getting very frustrated, and was like, took my hands up in the air and was like, I need to take a break from this. Went and washed dishes. Good figure. So anyway, there was a song. The Christian songs was all I had basically up to that point, and there was you probably know the one that's like Bullfrogs and Butterflies. They both been bowling again, or the music machine. It goes. World, bong bong, woo! World, bong bong. You look confused. It's not ringing a bell, huh? Okay, surely you must have patience. I do sing this one periodically today. When somebody's being patient. It's Herbert the Snail. Have patience, don't be in such a hurry. Remember, that God is patient too, and think of all the times that others want to wait for you. If I ever sing that to you, you probably wouldn't punch me. I think I'd punch me.
Let's see.
See, what kind of childhood you must have had to not get to hear those epic stories? Let's see, what else was there? There weren't drums or guitars, but there was like enough to make me get up and dance around the house, like seriously dumb. So, but I don't want to say bad things, but I don't think he ever liked me. You know, I just like super great movies of him holding me, but like trying to put my eyes out. I think at least I seem to recall that. And let's see what else did he do? Oh, so right here. Yeah. He didn't like me dancing. Shaking my booty, I think, as he said. And anyway, he just. I guess I showed considerable promise on my pelvic gyrations, and it would have made Elvis proud. I'm embarrassed to even read that I wrote that now. My older brother Mark, however, was not. In fact, he was so against all that was righteous and holy that he determined to put an end to my vulgar display of preteen celebrations. No fun allowed must have been the rule by which he measured all of my behavior. He is 2 years older, and he didn't have much size on me, but didn't take him too much of an effort to give me a solid shove, and I think he was only hoping I fell down, but it wasn't with malice that my head hit the corner of the one of my dad's end tables. I think I'd already been to the emergency room at that point. My first one was in the basement. In the summer, to get a popsicle, running downstairs to get a popsicle, and we had a curtain that divided the two halves of the basement, and I could just see myself running and jumping on the curtain like Tarzan, thinking I'm gonna do what? I hit my feet on the concrete, and plus I can't see because of all this mess, but cut my chin up in there. And that was the first one. I think at that point my first mom, this is my first adopted mom, wrote it. She got Thanksgiving Day, 1967, when I adopted my brother Mark. So right about there. No, he wasn't there yet, but they were getting him ready because he was not born until December of '67. So. Didn't expect that there. So she'd already passed, and my dad would. My next door neighbor was June Pepper, and we'd always have to carry me over there, and I'd be bleeding from somewhere. All but my chin up though. Like I had 11 stitches before I was, I think, 10 years old from my chin up. Like 11 different incidents. like enough of the tables to where my dad cut the. No, my grandpa did. My grandpa cut the corners off of the tables so it wouldn't. You know what? Gotta do that. That's Howard Baughman and Rose Baughman. My dad's. Let's see, my dad. There. There's me as a little shaver. I'm the cute one. Get her back. I got you facing away. Just there we do that. That's me on the left. Which might be your right. I'm not sure. I'm the littler one. That's my mom and dad. That's my mom who my dad got remarried after a couple years after my mom had passed, and she was my first grade Sunday school teacher. And so their first date was actually a trip to Cedar Point. My dad tried to bribe me to ride the roller coasters, and he did, but he never paid me up. I got robbed that day. So back to the story of where we're at. So we're just at the emergency room trip. So my dad would walk over to see June, and he'd go, June, we need you to go to the hospital. Apparently she got wisdom or I don't know. But that's where we went, and they said, yep, yay or nay. And so we'd go to the hospital, and my Aunt Becky was attending nurse. Apparently they could call. I don't know. She always seemed to be there every single time. Emergency room nurse. And let's see what else. Then every time after that, then we get to go I go get that ice cream cone from Dairy Queen because it was right around the corner. So I'd get my dad would promise me ice cream cone. Like if what am I going to do? Like that's such a weird thing. I'm sure I've done the same thing too. If you just sit there and take the stitches like a man or whatever, I don't know. I mean, it was scary the first couple times. I think. I don't know. But so yeah, I ran into door jams and cut my head open somewhere. When I go bald, which I am not ever going to, there's power positive thinking. I'm going to have a full head of luxurious hair my whole life. You got to just say it. So let's see where were we? The emergency room, and then I know my dad. We were playing catch up on the couch one day with the ball, like a football, and he didn't throw very well, and I dove off the couch to get it, and I had her into the table. Probably the same table Mark pushed me on. It seems like I know there's more. Oh, yeah, a second time on the same spot on my chin at Walton Lake. There's a big lake. There's like a raft that you could go, walk out to and then climb the ladder, get up on it, and then jump off or whatever. But I was climbing up my hand slipped on the handlebars or the ladder rungs, and it didn't really hurt that bad, but I thought I had blood on it, and I went to the lifeguard, and I was like, "Is it bleeding?" And she's like, "Yeah, oh yeah." She jumped down and put her arm around me, and I seemed to like that, but my mom had to come take me to the hospital again. I think that was probably one of the last. I was close to 12 or 13 at that point. So, back to the story. The music has shaped my life. And I guess that's where I left off at. So chapter 1 is Another One Bites Dust. Let's see, put that here. Because I want to do like have a band, like a musical choir sort of a thing, and a live performance, and then it's introduce this sort of moment as a kid, and maybe some kids acting out that part, and then have a band actually play the song, dun dun dun, and then just like orchestras and all that stuff too, like just different, not necessarily have different orchestra, but the horns and the strings and harps and bagpipes and the other one, accordions, and the cowbell. We got to have more cowbell. So song 1 was Another One Bites Dust. We Are the Champions. Oops. Speaking of We Are the Champions, I did actually get to not a champion, but I did get carried off the field my senior year in what would be a. It could be seen as the peak at which point everything just began to crumble. It's like I'm like the Job of senior high school, like Job, biblical Job. If you don't know, look him up. But he had a really bad run of luck. Like everything went bad. Like his wife cursed, his whole family cursed. I think his whole family got killed. And like a house falling on him, and like everything went bad. Tops it off, he ends up with boils, and he still won't curse God, you know. And that's what everybody's like. God's done all this stuff to you. Why won't you curse him? And it wasn't God doing it to him, you know. For whatever reason, and the way the story was told, there's a whole theology behind it. Why God allowed Lucifer to torture him, if it's even a like a. We're not going to get into the theories. Well, yes, we are. That's what we're here for. That's what. Paying all that money. Like, so was raised in a very footloose, like I said, not necessarily fancy free, but footloose, like the movie, Kevin Bacon, and no dancing, no rock music, and church 3 times a week, and Christian school, so chapel every day, and Bible class every day, and probably devotional 3 or 4 of the classes during the day. There's a lot of biblical teaching, and like I fluctuate. Like I used to be resentful of it, and I used to be super thankful for it, and now I, like I need to be thankful for it because it was what it was what was necessary in my life. Everything, I had to. I don't know if you have to, but I found myself able to be thankful for everything. Like the jumping ahead in my story to when I fell hiking, and broke my back and my pelvis and my sacrum, and that was, for one, it was brutal pain, but it was then that because at that point I was only doing like spray paint and stencil artwork, and I just kind of dabbled, and I wanted to be good at it, but I hadn't taken I didn't have the discipline yet or the desire to sit down with a paintbrush and get good enough, get good at it, to practice at it like you have to. And then I couldn't do the spray paint and stencils anymore because I hurt my, I was in a wheelchair. So my boss a guy at the bar from the bar I used to work at, Future Boss, asked me if he could get me anything, and I was like, you know what? Give me the Bob Ross painting kit, and I swear it was it didn't immediately, like, it wasn't like a full on. I learned it at that time, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and I didn't. Then I got back to work bartending, and I was only painting part time after work, and mostly I was buzzed when I was doing it, and which at the time, a little bit of irony is that I used to see this guy at the bar that when I would get off work at Espagios, I'd go to this local cantina and have a couple drinks and then get an Uber home from there. And I always saw this one guy who was like an amazing artist, just amazing. But he hadn't been creating in years. Like he did the like masters, like learned how to paint like Da Vinci and like brush for brush strokes and like the thin palettes and all that stuff. It was really, really good. Like I was nowhere, still nowhere probably near him, which is neither here nor there. But he said to me, "Do you ever think about not drinking and painting?" And like that's why he hadn't been painting, because he had become an alcoholic, I think, and was pretty shit faced almost every time I saw him. I'm not judging. I've been there myself. But I mean, I wasn't like getting hammered or nothing like that every day. But I'd get off work and I was bartending, so I'd probably have a couple there, and then a couple when I got home, and that was pretty much every day. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't at the time. I could. It was like, well, what else do you do? You know, I can't imagine not drinking and painting. And it's amazing to see how, like, to this point, like, I can't imagine drinking and painting. It's like a complete, like, accidental. I didn't plan it at all. Like, so, like, fly by the seat of my pants, self-improvement 101, I guess. There's obviously, you do some work on, you know, I've had to do work on myself to grow, to take the lessons that I, to be thankful for those things. Like, that was the whole point of that story, was that all the pain of the fall and all of that stuff, I'm thankful for it, because I wouldn't be doing what I am today. I wouldn't be doing this probably. I wouldn't be, hell, I could be dead. I was probably doing a fair amount of cocaine at the time. Not when I fell or nothing, but just in general. This was actually during the day, and not that you don't, maybe you could, it wasn't like, no, it's daylight. I don't only do cocaine at night, please. It wasn't like that at all. But yeah, it's like, I don't like playing the what if games, but, you know, because I think typically they just don't. Although in the realm of quantum physics now, there is a version of that story where see, what if I didn't fall? I didn't fall, and I kept doing my life, and I went on and I did whatever. You know, who knows what would have happened? But there is that version, I think, like when those. I don't know, the way the scientists describe quantum physics too. This gets to the story, the name of the show, Quantum Stew, with your host Ray Boffman. Because it's a little bit of everything. You know, that's really what I wanted to be. Is just, I think it's everything is connected. First of all, like, there's such a, so I can't tell a story about any of it without telling all of it. And I haven't, you know, like lately, I haven't had. I used to think I had a lot of answers. When I was with my biblical stuff, I was solid. I knew the Bible. I know the Bible. And I was a good, you know, apologetics of it, which, like, the defense of the Bible, I could tell you why it was right and why it was historically accurate, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, now that I'm where I'm at now, it's like, how could I not see what I see? Like, so there's a chain of custody on our history is what's really at the, you know, the crux of the narrative we're given. And there's a point of the history. I know this is like jumping all over the place, but there's a point of history in like 1400 to 1600 in there. That's just one of the recent ones. But we're like, there's like two people who are in charge of making sure that the history is accurate or whatever, like in the Roman, and they were like in the Roman Catholic groups. And it's like, if you think that they take advantage of that, I mean, we're kind of stupid. Like, it's like the husband who cheats on his wife like 15 times, and she keeps catching him, and he's like, no, I promise, you know. And like, that's what our government's doing to us. They're like, you know, we shouldn't trust them at all. Anything they say. It's shocking that we do, that anybody does. And it's not all, but like the ones that are the lies that are lies are fucking big ones, and matter. And it's not like I want to. I'm not just sitting here trying to say bad stuff to say bad stuff. You know, like, there's a this happened, and we have to do this. Like, it, I think this kind of knowledge and why people don't want to fuck with it, they don't want to deal with it, is because it does require action. You know, like, it's hard, like, to see what I see in my head, unless I'm freaking nuts.
And I'm not seeing things I don't see, besides that guy. No, I'm just kidding. I don't see stuff or hear voices normally. I have, but there's extenuating circumstances there. But where was I? Losing my train of thought. The conspiracies. Shoot, boy, I hate that. Well, it must have been time to go to the next topic. I was way off topic there, wasn't it? Some more pictures. These are my amazing kids. That's an old picture of them, but they're all amazing. And I don't want to do that. I don't talk about it much because it's hard. I'm not thrilled with the way that aspect of those relationships have formed and are they're not like they don't hate me or anything like that, and it's not close like it should be or could be, and that's like one of the travesties of the I'm not trying to get sympathy for the guys. Most a lot of times it's we made our beds and we have to lie on them. Like I accept the responsibility for my actions. Absolutely, I do. But there's a hardship that goes with when like you leave the family for that first moment, and like you don't get to talk to your kids anymore, and your relationship is really strained, like mine was at the time. It was hard to I didn't want to risk being in front of the kids because it was an ugly, and so I stayed away a lot, and then it became habit, and it's just like it was tough for them, so tough for them, and if I could, like there's things like that. I don't live in the past because, man, it's just not a good place to be, so I don't dwell on those. I'm telling that only for the story, the sake of the story, because it is important, it is a part of it. It's not, it's nothing about that do I have ill will towards, I wished things could have been a little bit better, I wish I could have been better, and but at the same time I can't continue to beat myself and be beaten up for it, like I'm probably my own worst critic, and but that takes a toll on a person, that moment of divorce, and the feeling like the whole fucking world is talking about you, and probably no one is. Nobody's thinking about you. Everybody's got their own problems in their own lives, but you feel like you're just like on an island, and everybody hates you, and I wasn't going to be. Not that there's a, I didn't try to control a narrative. I didn't try to say anything one way or the other. I just, kept my mouth shut, and and tried to be positive as much as I could. Started drinking a lot. I pretty much quit from drinking from 30 to 40, so I did jump far a lot there. But I got married in 1999. No, 1995. Oops. 1995. And had my daughter in 95. And it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It was everything you're supposed to be. Yeah, she was beautiful, and is beautiful. and produced 2 beautiful grandkids and have a third grandchild, stepchild, whatever, grandson. Anyway, like I'm terrible at this. People think that, I don't know, I'm just like, sometimes I put the capital A in awkward, it's like, I jokingly say that I am pretty cool thinking, I think, but I'm not nearly as cool as like anybody might think I am. Like, I don't know. It's like being really fast, but you're tripping right going across the finish line. So you get first place, but you accumulate yourself anyway. That's kind of what my has been. It's not my life, but at times in my life, that's what seemingly would happen. And so it's not hard to be humble and actually take it to the extreme and be self-doubt and lack of self-esteem and lack of confidence. And the world can, man, it conspires to knock you down and to take your breath and to take everything from you, it's the blessed and it's a strong and it's a brave person that does that and then finds the fucking to get back up, That's what I do. Get back up. Get back up. Get back up. Get back up. It's humbling because I know that I feel like I know I didn't get up by myself every time. I've had a long list of supporters who've prayed for me, encouraged me through the years. Oh, I didn't expect that. Sorry. I'm going to blame it on the pop brownie that I'm going to have on December 7th when it's legal. Yeah, for Ohio, good job. Boo for Governor Mike DeWine, whatever you're thinking about doing. Oh, man. Stop. Getting emotional now. So you get back up. And you do so with as much like thankfulness like as you can. You got to be, you have to find the gratitude to be able to do that. Otherwise, getting back up and getting mean and bitter, just that ain't the way. I've seen it. It could have been me for sure. So could have been me, but that's a choice. I mean, I remember 2 times, both times in the hospital with the broken back the first time, and then with the Guillain-Barré syndrome, which hit me 4 years after I moved down to Columbus with bartending, and it's Guillain-Barré syndrome. It's like Guillalai, and it's French. So it's always fucked up. Sorry, Mrs. Turner. But she's my French teacher. My stream of thought is I'm not regretting it because I feel like it's that's a good way to tell the story, you know. And like those are like time. Actually, really, time is not. I mean, it can be linear and it can be seen as a normal way the clock goes, but it can also be seen in points in time that I can just go to, you know. And that's what the whole first chapter is about. Like, way to bring this around, right? Music it's like a time machine, and I think lots of things can be like a time machine. And it's a time machine. I mean, we're always connected to that place, and that it's that quantum entanglement, because of our experience in that original space. It's like a smell. If you smell something that smells just like your grandma's house, instantly transported back there. Everything you feel it and everything. A song can do that. Like I think any of the senses, probably anything that has a frequency, anything that vibrates at a frequency, and I think sounds, colors, light. Was like sound, light? Yeah. I guess colors and light would be. I think. I'm not a very good physicist. That's why I need. I didn't even get to physics in high school. So my high school. You know, it's weird. I seem plenty smart, you know. But I can trace it back. I know. I see exactly what happened, and it definitely was onset of like ADD. But I wasn't like a hyperactive kid. I could sit still, but my mind would be elsewhere. I wouldn't be paying attention, but I could. You didn't know that. It looked like I was probably paying attention, but I could sit still. But my mind is way somewhere else, and which is cool and great, except for that's not how school works. You know, you have to listen to what the teacher says apparently, and then tell the teacher back what she said. And that's how school is. It's just and it's really, if you not to get the tinfoil hat out early in our story, but I think if you really take an honest look at the way that school was rolled out at a certain point, it's easy to see how it was it's just a machine. It's just it's a factory for workers. School. It's just we want to stamp them and put. It's like the element of the whole schooling process is just stamping them and getting them printing the same versions over and over and over. So the same people go to do the same jobs over and over and over and over. They won't question anything. They won't. You know, they're just good worker bees. That's what we want. You know, and I mean, I can see the appeal of that for if you're royalty and you think you're better than everybody else, and you want to have a smooth running society, one that doesn't fight over their positions or, certainly doesn't, rebel against the government or challenge my thought, my leadership, then that's what you want. But it's not sustainable. I mean, I guess it's weird. It is sustainable in there because it's worked. I mean, they're still in power. And most people don't know what they're doing. And it's the whole education system. And like, I think we in America, we look at these other countries and we think, oh, those poor people, they've been propaganda, they've been, man. And like, meanwhile, we're probably, obviously, I think America's the greatest propaganda machine ever. I mean, they're way better than anybody, because just look at our TV, look at our TV, look at fucking, any other country, look at like a Spanish TV and compare their two sitcoms. Like, they're not even close. They're good at it, and I think because everything has been produced from the beginning. Like as soon as there was radio, it was being produced for a fucking reason. As soon as there was TV, it was produced with an agenda. and it wasn't like so you could watch Howdy Doody. It was to start the programming, and it's only they can say that they yeah, we don't put any subliminal messages in there. We promise. How do we know? Is anybody checking the messages, like the commercials, to see if they're subliminal? I don't think we have a fact checker for that stuff. And it's just even look at the damn pharmaceutical commercials. Like every single show on, like, if I had regular TV, but I do have YouTube, and a good portion of my commercials are pharmaceuticals. We're the only country in the world that allows pharmaceutical commercials. Why is that? You know, like that should tell us something. And yeah, they might have cured some things, but they're not our friends. And I guarantee you, probably half the things they cured, they've made another half a dozen illnesses new. I don't know that it's that bad, but they're like no other industry could you be so poor at your job and do such terrible things to people and continue to be in business. Like most people would go to prison for what the pharmaceutical companies did, but they don't. They just continue to make money. They're fine. They're still in business. It's not like they got out of the business. And the ones who didn't get fined, really, they're all the like generic ones. Like I never bought like the brand name Percocets when I broke my back. My insurance didn't cover brand name, so I got the whatever the generic was. So that's a large portion, a huge portion of the opiate stuff comes from that generic market. Yeah, man, I'm thirsty. These pretzels are making me thirsty. I need to have that as a little button to push. So this story is not being told in a very cohesive manner. So I do apologize for that, but I think you'll accept the lack of cohesion for the added value of emotion and authenticity in a storytelling. So there you go. Don't be afraid to send me money. No, I don't have any means set up for that at this point. But stay tuned though, because I really am gonna do this. I think do this Kickstarter thing. I've got this. I don't want to say divine plan, because that seems like it's more kooky than saying I've got a plan. But I think it's a fairly reasonable, well thought out. And I used to think it was and probably a bit of my ego is just to save the world, you know. I'm going to save the world. How egotistical is that to think that? Like, and to like, there's the other part, like when I was going to be, so I went to missionary school. Here's a little quick, the quantum machine is firing it up. Back to 1999. This is a long distance dedication. I wish I could do invitations. I would have totally done Casey Kasem there. A long distance dedication to my friend in Chicago. Stay well. I don't know if that's how that goes at all. No, it's not. Anyway, we were talking about the end of the world as we know in missionary school. I partied a bit up until married 95. We got divorced in 99. 99 was a bad year for me. Did some drugs, and I checked myself into Freedom Hall. I remember that. There's a reason why they say cocaine is good, you know, because it is, and it is until it's not, you know. It's just not sustainable. It's not something you can do, and I'm certainly not hating on people who do it, and it's it just takes its toll, you know. And if you're, I wasn't prepared for like now I because of the belief system that was instilled in me, and that the what I accepted, what others told me about myself, I believed I was an addict and an alcoholic. And as soon as I believed I wasn't. And it's pretty crazy, but there was a gun to the head at one point that maybe had a little bit of something to do with it, but that's a different story. It was that's later on. That's like years after it should have happened. It should have never, like, it's shocking how long a distance was between stopping that type of behavior and then finding myself in that behavior again, you know. So yeah, that's what that for a while there. Excuse me. For a while there was a pattern of word voices, and yeah, my kids paid a price for that, and my wife too. Yeah, and I've done what I can do about that, and it's something I've learned from for sure, and I think that's what you don't want to. I don't want to cause pain. Just one of my sort of oaths and creeds or whatever is to cause no pain. Do cause as little as possible, and that's. I never want to be the reason somebody has a bad day. I never want to be the reason somebody cries themselves to sleep at night. That's horrible to think that, and I'm sure. And, like, through just, no, I don't know. Anyway, that's life can be hard. That's the thing. Is like you have to have your it's like your savings account of good emotions, good memories, and your good experiences has to be such that when things do get hard, you're able to draw on your savings of good experiences, love and family, those types of things that get you through the moments of darkness and the dark nights of the soul, which I did have that. There's through the broken back, I never felt like giving up or anything. I felt determined. I knew once I before this first surgery, I knew I would walk again, and that was just I was just grateful for that, and everything else was just a bonus, and so man, I keep getting off track there. Unbelievable. Good Lord. Missionary school, we'll go with so my uncle was a pastor or a missionary in Indonesia back in the 60s and 70s, and my cousins and that were born over there actually. And he's kind of like just a great guy, really. He was like the second white man to be on the slept on the floor of this hut of a tribe in Indonesia. Some of them were still doing the headhunting and eating people, so it wasn't very safe. But he was also on an American submarine back in the Cold War, I believe, because he was really good at linguistics, and that's why he became a missionary. And he translated the Bible into their language. So when I was a little kid, like 4, at church, there was a missionary conference, and that's where I first felt the pull to become a follower of Jesus and to be a missionary, I guess, is what I saw the little kids, and I remember my mom telling me that night, this mom, the first one, wrote it. I remember her telling me, don't lose that sensitive side, Ray, you know, and she didn't say it like a man, like I just said it. I just remember just kind of like crying, like in her lap, and it wasn't long after that she would pass away. So it was it's just been etched in my memory. It's one of the few really strong memories I have. I have a few, like we did for my first grade, I think, or kindergarten. I know it had to be kindergarten year because she passed away before the first grade, and we did pumpkin cookies for my birthday. We took them in, but each one was iced differently, so they weren't all the same. I thought that was really cool, and yeah, that had to be a terrible thing for her too, just to have to say goodbye. Both of my moms, you know, like, so my adopted mom, I got to meet her. So she passed away. She's a sweetheart. We damn it. I got to meet her and my dad. My dad, my sister. My sister's still good. That's Debbie and my dad. I got to meet them both about, I guess it's 3 years now. And that was very, very healing. But it was like the night I met my dad, it was like, or we talked on the phone for the first time. He had told me he just found out he was had terminal stomach cancer, you know, so it was like, I just remember being like, having that, like almost a flash of anger. You know, just for like a half a second. You know, I was like, no, you know, I'm not gonna tarnish this moment by being angry or hateful about it, you know. Those are those moments that we all have to define who you become, you know. And I'm proud of myself for that. I think you have to take your wins, you know. And some people, you know, count wins by promotions or whatnot, and those are, well, you know, that's nothing. That's a good win too, you know, for sure. You work hard, you know, you should be rewarded. I think a lot of the most important things that we can be proud of are the things that like nobody really notices, you know. They notice maybe because they say you're different, you're from like or whatever, but they're mostly done in private, you know. You're figuring shit out, you know. Your head's in the clouds, you know, to some people, but the gears are working in my case, and good God, they never stop, you know. Like the wheels on the bus go around and around, around and around. Yeah. I don't think of myself as like different, better. I think of myself as different, you know, like, and just different. I don't like. I thought everybody was like me. I did, and not that me is better than everybody else, but it's like when you go through life thinking that everybody's like you, and you're more patient, more kind than most people, then you're probably going to get shit on a few times. Do you realize that people aren't like you? Oh, your first thought isn't to like do something nice. That's not your first thought. No. And it seems weird to you that I do that. I get it. No, I'm not trying to be nice to you just so I can figure, get an angle on something. I'm genuinely just seeing if you want something to drink. That's all. Or whatever. Life is so weird how you have to. There's so many layers, but I don't think there needs to be. There's like a lot of the layers need to be transparent, and we wouldn't have as many. Like it's the mind trying to see into the person across the who's across the table from you. You're trying to see what they're thinking about you, and you're reading into every like body language and probably like you don't even know, like maybe they just got a bad text or got a phone call, or like there's a million things going on with people, and it's so easy to assume that it's about us, that they're acting the way they are, and it's 99% of the time it's not. And like I also realize that oddly enough, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Like I don't know why. I think I'm pretty likable, and I think I'm a great guy, but not everybody does, and I have to be okay with that. And I haven't been. I don't think. I don't know. Like I want people to like me. I want, not because I want to. I don't think I need their validation. I genuinely just want to be liked. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's really fucking weird that people don't want to. Like, I don't care. I don't care what people think. In fact, I like to be a dick to people. That's what I do. I have a shirt that says "I am a dick." Like there are people like that, and like to me, it's like in a world where you could be kind. There's like maybe in our evolution or like as we went to the ages, we had to be hard to survive. Like if you were soft, you probably died. But that's not where we're at. Well, we might be getting there, but it's not where we have been. You don't need to be a dick just to live. You're not fighting off bears, or you're not whatever it is. You're going to work and you're really nice BMW, and you're being a dick to everybody on the way. And when you get to work, you're continuing to be a dick because that's what you do. You're just a dick. Somebody did something, you're just like, that guy. It's like everybody knows him. I just want to punch that guy, really. But we're not allowed to do that. Well, I don't know. Yeah, punching is never good. We really need to understand. There's better ways to solve problems than violence. And like it sounds like such a pacifist, lefty sort of thing to say, but I'm not either of those, nor am I on the right either. Like there's such a. It has to be one of those two. You're both assholes. You're both lying. You're both cheating. You're both pandering. You're both taking money for like votes and for privilege and your clubs, and it's a fucking game to them. And we're the ones being played at the bottom for sure. And the people who are like the 60th percentile, you think you're going to be making it so that the elites are going to take you to the next thing? No. You're going to go down with us, so you should probably just go ahead, join the folk, and help us get things back on track. Because you can't, like the way it is now, it's not going to last. We can't, like the world is just not going to put up with this sort of behavior. Like if people start give us so much time, and then the earth just says, you know what, fuck it, we're going to start all over. And here's a massive earthquake or a Yellowstone volcano, super volcano eruption as a extinction event. I think that's where we're at. I think it's I don't know. There's a belief that I think I'm kind of there as far as like there's a consciousness to the actual earth. has its own awareness, which that sounds kind of new agey, I know. I don't know. I can't say I have all the answers, but that's the way I'm leaning. And like to me, it used to always be like I started to stop calling myself a Christian and more like just a follower of Jesus, because I didn't want to be like I had bad experiences with the church. Well, I went back all the way back to high school, kicked out of school for marijuana. Senior year that was the senior year that was so awesome. I was a junior class president. Got impeached for chewing tobacco that they never did find on me, and they said that I was doing. It was probably more for the beating up a pop machine that was stolen my money. Me and my friend kicked it a little bit, but it was a piece of shit to begin with. It wasn't like we broke really. It was already destroyed. Anyway. They've been impeached before, not the constituents. It was elite, we'll call them. So that's how my junior year ended. Then my senior year, I blew my knee. I was a pretty good soccer player, and I had some colleges looking at me my junior year. And, the day after Christmas, January 26, 1987. So my senior year coming up, it was going to be, I thought I was looking to score 20 goals at least, and just really great things. That was my plan. And that was my only plan. I had one plan, and so I went to an indoor tournament after Christmas, indoor soccer tournament, and I made a pass against the wall, and I went to go around guy. My body twisted, my foot stayed planted on the AstroTurf, and it just and it wasn't a complete tear though, so it was just bad enough to where it was fucked up, but it wasn't. He didn't want to do the surgery. He wanted me to try to rehabilitate it, and which if I knew now what I knew then, I would say no, let's just have surgery now, because as it was, we kept trying to rehabilitate it, and it would go out on me, collapse, and I'd be running in the gym or something, and it would just buckle and I'd fall. And so he decided we had to do surgery. So we did it like in July, and that's like a month before practice of my senior year starts. So everything was just like, like I was just, I don't know, I was probably really depressed, but I don't know. My friend Brent stole my damn jersey number. Like, thanks. You don't think I'm going to come back, huh? Nice faith. But I did get back though. I busted my ass, and I got worked hard, and I got probably the last 4 or 5 games of my senior year, and then the tournaments, and that's where the Tournament of Champions, Tournament of Lies. It's the end of the world as we know it. So set the stage. State tournaments, not the Christian school tournaments, but state tournaments. We were playing against Worthington Christian, which is really rare to meet them in an actual state tournament game. But it was at Ontario High School, which is a local school for us. So it was just packed. I heard the paper said like 1,500 people, which is pretty big for soccer. I mean, the stadiums were standing room only at the school, and I wasn't starting yet, but I was still playing quite a bit. I scored a couple goals in the first several games of the season, last couple games of the season, and then so I was getting into bed. I ended up scoring in the first half, and I think I tied it up 1-1. And then I think they took the lead, and then I scored in the second half, and I think I tied it to make it 2-2. I think that put us into overtime, and then it went to sudden death overtime, and then it went to shootout. And the coach asked me if I wanted to shoot shootout, which is that's just a penalty kick, which is from 11 meters from the goal line and shot the ball, and it's just you and the goalie 1-on-1. Probably 75%, maybe 80%, 90% goals were scored. but it's a lot of pressure, and a lot of people just kick the ball right over the goal. And I had kicked it. I hadn't taken a penalty shot probably in the whole year since I'd been hurt, so probably at least a year. But I used to. My dad had built a goal in my backyard, and I sat at that. I just probably kicked. I don't even know how many times I kicked the ball at that thing. I don't even know if that would be a crazy amount of kicks. Like years of like winter, summer, fall, all year long, And so it was like that. I'd had in my head, I knew I knew what to do. But I said, yeah, you put me in the second five and put me last. So the first five, it goes back and forth, and it ends up tied again. And so then it goes to this. Now it's if they kick it and we miss, if they score and we miss, they win. It's just back and forth, and it went back and forth all the way to me, and the guy before me had missed. And so I had to make. If I made it, we won, and I made it, and everybody rushed the field, and so then I remember my friend Mike Varga, who was a couple years older and a really good soccer player, went to college, and is actually coaching to this day. Coaches like a nationally recognized women's coach now. Really good. But I remember him carrying me, and I was just so happy I could kiss you. And it was my girlfriend's boyfriend, girlfriend's brother. So don't think it was like that. It's just a pure, just exuberance, man. It was a great. That was like the high, and I remember I was a cocky, arrogant, little shit, probably. Not probably, was. And I remember seeing this kid from Worthington Christian. We battled this. We probably battled, I don't know, 4 times through high school, and all pretty hard battles. And so I don't know his name, but we knew each other. And he was crying in the goal, and I didn't have an ounce of compassion or empathy or none of that. I just kind of smirked at him, and I don't know. I'd like to think I said something, but I don't think I did. I think I just, I don't know. I gloated, was what I did, and it was prideful, and it was not the right way to behave, for sure. Not the way a winner wins. You shouldn't win like that. I'm better than that, And so next game, state tournaments against Zanesville Rosecrans. Almost identical scenario, except I tied it to, I think, to take the lead in overtime. So I had a chance to be the game winner again, but we fell apart, and you gave up 2 goals in like 5 minutes or 3 minutes or something like that, and they won, and it was just devastating. I was like, I just remember, like, to me, because my parents weren't much into the sports thing, so like, if I knew now what I knew then, and I had terrible coaching in high school. I had one good coach, and then he left, and we had 2 nice guys, well intentions, but just not a fucking clue about the game or really anything. I don't mean that. They were nice people. And they tried. They really did try. And the one guy especially, God bless him, he suspended me for a game for having the biggest game ever of our at that time, my junior year ACSI championship game. He suspended me because we had girls in our hotel room, and we were just talking in our defense. But for the championship game, he said I couldn't play, and I was their leading scorer, and we didn't have somebody really to replace me that could score like I could, but we ended up getting second place, I think, because we couldn't score. I told him, I said, I'll run as many laps as you want me to when we get back. Let me do that. Let me do my punishment that way. I tried. Anyway, yeah, that was that. So soccer's soccer's over. What else is there? You know, really, I had my girlfriend who we met at Cedar Point, which is like an hour from here, and we ended up walking past each other in Frontierland, and he was looking fine, and I raised my sunglasses up, and she raised hers up, and we just kind of turned around, and we. Fortunately, my one friend John, who was with me, he's a champion talker, and I'm just super shy, you know. But I don't seem like it. Do I? I can talk like this. I can talk one-on-one, but sometimes I can't. I don't know. I'm an introvert though. But anyway, I fell hard, and she was a Catholic girl, and that went against my parents' Christian beliefs. And like in Catholic Christian, what's the difference? You know, well, there's differences, but my parents would say, the Bible says, thou shalt not be unequally yoked. And my parents said I couldn't date her. And I was like, well, I'm 17. I don't really care. I'm going to date her anyway. And I mean, I didn't say that to her face, but in my head, you know, I'm more like a guerrilla fighter, you know, like I'm underground. I'm not like Goliath. I'm going to beat you over the head with my sword. I'm going to cut you in 1,000 different ways, and like before you see me, you know, that's my game. So I was trying to be sneaky, and I now say I'm clever, but not nearly as clever as I thought I was, you know, or as I need to be. So I just something would happen, I'd get caught. My parents finally gave in. They said, you know what, you can date her, but no more lying and blah 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 blah, you know. And those are pretty big blah 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 blahs. But at this point, I hadn't really I hadn't done any drugs or anything like this at that point. She went to St. Pete's, so of course she drank. Her mom let them drink, and thus let me drink, and we go to the St. Pete's dances, and that was happening. There was some moments there where I was fucking in love, and I thought it was gonna be everything, and she did move to Cleveland like right before my senior year, her junior year. So we met when she was a freshman and I was a sophomore, and then we dated like the next couple of years. But so she moved to Cleveland, and then so for homecoming, she came up to go to homecoming with me, or came down from Cleveland to go to homecoming with me, and I wanted to get a hotel room because I'm 18 and I think I'm cool, and I want to be with my girlfriend, and so we did. And then her mom had called my friend Becky, who's Kathy was supposed to be staying with, and she wasn't there, and called my parents, and next day things were not good for Ray. The deal was if I lie again, then you know I'm gonna have to get kicked out. You know that they have a place for me, like some Christian folks that I can go stay with, but they didn't want me being a bad influence on my little brother and sister, which clearly I was not. But anyway, I understand why. I mean, I don't blame them. I'm not bitter about it anymore. You know I've crossed the line, and but I was like, well, if you're kicking me out, I'm gonna go where I want to. So I moved in with my buddy Steve and his parents. And that was actually really one of my highlights of that year. In a dark time in Ray's life, the Ellingtons were my family, and they were great. So senior year is going swimmingly. So she was in Cleveland, and like I think it might have been at the fucking last Browns game when we lost the fucking. Sorry, but it's the Broncos. John Elway, and I think it was in either the drive or the fumble when she tells me she wants to date other people, and I think I was drinking. I'm not sure, but I know I had to drive home in a Toyota Celica I just got and then just learned how to drive stick in. like on the way there. Like, like as soon as I got kicked out, I was like, got a car, and I'm like the prodigal son, took my savings and went and spent it all on wine, women, in a car. Not really wine, women, in a car, but anyway, so she broke up with me after I get kicked out of this house for her. So that sucked, and then because I'm super clever, as I told you already. Somebody had asked me if I knew where to find marijuana, and I was like, no, but I think I know somebody who might. And we had one girl in our school from senior high, and I thought that she might be able to find it. And so I asked her, and she said, yeah. And she brought me 3 joints in for my friend, and I gave them to him, and that was it. That was my high school drug dealing career. But in the way that I do things, if I do something wrong, I get caught instantly, usually. And it wasn't like I didn't do anything wrong. No, but one of them was bragging about it or talking about it somehow. Like, probably Matt, I'm almost 90% sure. The girl wouldn't have said anything. She was bragging about it. So the younger kid was doing it. And he was like he's a son of a gun. He's the son of a pastor who actually led my dad to the Lord, or the son of the grandson of the pastor, Reverend William Allen, of First Alliance Church. Well, this was young John. Or no, Matthew. So, in my defense, though, the school started off with the people that they wanted to kick out, like that year. They had a plan, and I was on that list apparently. So they heard about it. They called me in the office, and I just denied it, like I would typically do. And they said, if you just admit it, you're just going to be suspended, and just we'll talk about it at the board tonight, and blah blah blah. They told me stuff that the other two kids, there's one of them had already admitted to what had happened, so I was just like, whatever. And I did, and so the next day I come back in and say, well, board decided you're going to have to go. I was like, and at this point I also had an apartment too. I moved out of my friend Steve's, and I was working full time as a security guard. So there were people coming over to my apartment drinking a little bit, and I think the school probably got wind of that, so that didn't, help me get my case any at all. And so it sucked though, because if I was in where my parents lived, which was over in Lexington, I would have gone to Lexington, which is, I knew a lot of people at. I just got an apartment in Madison where I knew absolutely no one, like no one. And my friend John, I knew one person. And he told Roger to look out for me, and we ended up meeting and hanging out. He was a pretty cool dude, and his buddy was Angelo and David Boggs, and I went to see. I did smoke pot with them, but at that point, I never even smoked it, and I still got kicked out of school for it. Crazy. And now we've come to the point where, how many years is that? 27 or something like that. Years later, it's no, more than that. Good Lord. Anyway, a lot of different fests, but it just passed recreational marijuana. So, and also, if you're concerned about a kid, why you kick him out of your school and send him to some place where he's gonna smoke pot? Because there was a lot. That was the dirty school. But everybody thought that I had an apartment, and I was Michael J. Fox. I had grass crappy, and my hair was parted on the side, and feathered, and good Lord, that sounds awful. But that's what it was. And but Madison was more like concert T-shirts and flannels and jeans and hiking boots, and I didn't fit that either. So, but everybody thought I was an undercover cop because I had an apartment, and I could write my own. I wrote a pass every day for myself, so I could leave it early. If I had study hall last period, I'm not gonna say for that. That's pointless. And a lot of times I just put a 1 in front of the 2 and leave it 12 because I was bored. And like when I went from Mansfield Christian to Madison, it was amazing how much more difficult. I should have tested to make sure this is recording. That would suck if it's not. Damn. I wouldn't be sad if this isn't going through the other one. Anyway, I'll just keep talking, and it's good practice. So let's see what else. So kicked out of school, and girlfriend broke up with me, and it was just a dark period. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I decided to go to Ohio State, and I don't know why, because I didn't know what it's what everybody did, and I didn't. I passed a couple classes. If I had just gone to the classes, I think I'd have been all right. But I just didn't go a lot. I didn't. Especially when I got down to the main campus, Ohio State, I'd wake up in January and it was like, a mile walk. 'Cause I didn't have the pass for my car because I was too cheap to get it. Well, you mean the professors don't care if you show up? Well, fuck that. I'm not going today. It began a prolonged period of lack of discipline that probably, truthfully, is still ongoing. And that's one of those things I'm going to try to get ready to change it up and get disciplined. Start doing push-ups and sit-ups again, and just, So, that's kind of what I did in my 30s. I pretty much, so I got divorced and then got remarried to the same woman in 2001 or 2000. And then we moved to Chicago, where my uncle was a professor at Moody Bible Institute for the missionary school. So in 2001, I moved there. Or 2000, I moved there. We were there on 9/11, and that's pretty scary. They thought there, something was coming. That wasn't that scary, yes, because there's no attacks. But anyway, it was just it was a good experience. I mean, Moody Bible was like, it wasn't until it wasn't. And where I became, and this is, I don't know, I'm not proud of it. It seems to me like it should be more of an indictment of your organizations that this is what you chose to do. So I was smoking pot when I was at missionary school, and my ex-wife found out, and probably because I left my weed or bowl out or something like that. She said I had to tell she was going to make me tell the church, the university, some accountability or whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, But she's a stubborn woman, and I just find whatever, I'll do it. And so I did, and then they kicked me out, where I became the second person and to be kicked out of 2 Christian schools in 2 separate decades. I might be the only person alive who's done that. And so that was a disappointing career, and a missionary career. So because I went away from the Lord for a long time, and then in 2000 is when I kind of 99 is when I started back, and that's when I thought, well, just because I felt like God wanted me to be a missionary way back when doesn't mean that I couldn't be one now. And so that's why I started to go to missionary school and all that. So my whole feelings on all of that stuff is, so I was laying the groundwork that I do have a really solid biblical foundation, and I was a believer, so it's not just somebody who knows the stuff. I was a believer. But then I started seeing the manipulation by the Catholic Church, and to me, it's a huge indictment of your organization. That's your leadership. That's who you've chosen to. All right, this is going to be you put your best foot. This is that's your best foot forward. That's who you want to represent your people, your church. Because they're touching kids and they're doing fucked up shit like that. And they're making up stuff and telling you that if you give us extra money, you will get out of temporary hell or purgatory. You got to give a little bit more money, and we'll cut the years down. I'm sure that'll work. What the fuck? Why do you believe that? I mean, I shouldn't say it's so judgy. That's because we believe the things we believe because we're conditioned to believe them. And I believe a lot of things that weren't true, so I can't judge like that. So I apologize for that. That wasn't not right. But like, if your organization has a large percentage of them that's pedophiles, like you gotta root that shit out, man. You can't have that in there. It's unacceptable. And there's a real twisted sort of mindset that sexualizes young kids, and I don't understand it. It's I don't understand it at all, and it makes me sick to my stomach. And yeah, I think I'm not going to say no to a good vigilante Batman style to be doing some stuff to the bad guys. I wouldn't be upset about it. I don't think I'm supposed to do it, but I kind of like to. But it seems like in this era we're in now, we're not supposed to be vengeful. Vengeful. Like in a perfect world, for me, this is my perfect world. Tomorrow would be kind of a coup, but not to be bloodless, and the armies would all decide, you know what, you're right, we're going to turn our guns not on you, but on politicians. We're not going to take their orders anymore. We're not going to take the general's orders who tell us to fire. We're going to use our heads and think this through and not do what you tell us to do. And then, you know, we link up with them, and we have a kind of a bloodless revolution. But we have to do it in a way that's not like, well, it should be, it could be, and they deserve to be off with all of their heads, most of them. Almost every politician in my mind is guilty of treason. Just the level of lying that they do on a regular. Not everybody, so I'm not saying that they all should be executed for sure. Definitely Rand Paul's not one of those, but there's a large percentage of people that seem to be trying to steer us toward this global world economic, global economic something, world power, world forum, I think it is. I don't know. Anyway, I think I should probably take a break and make sure this is recording, and then maybe pick up part 2 tomorrow. So that was a long introduction to the book, What Music Has Meant for Me. Something like that. Yeah. Title's still working. I appreciate you. And if you stuck around for this long, thank you a lot. We'll see you soon. If I can even turn it off. Awkward.